The Flat Earth Fail compilations on this channel are somewhat of an institution now, and I can't imagine life without them. So let's get on the fail train again and witness the absolute best, and of course I mean the absolute worst, that Flat Earth has to offer. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Right, back to today's video, which of course is the 31st edition of the famous Flat Earth Fail compilations. And we start with Mr. CC Chris from New York, Westchester County.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County.
Oh, how I've missed that.
It's 11:26, 21. You know, well, I kept my mouth shut last night, so I didn't say anything I wanted to.
I assume here he's talking about Thanksgiving dinner, but telling his whole family about Flat Earth after his wife's reaction.
Alright, honey, come on.
The sun was standing.
Why don't you stop this bullshit? Idiot.
But my problem is gravity.
Of course it is, CC.
You see, to a flat earther, gravity is a fantastic thing because you can't prove it. You don't know what it is. And the only people that think they know what it is and that believe what they're saying has to come from a philosopher or a scientist or an astrophysics major, some bullshit that we'll never understand.
What is so hard to understand about an apparent force caused by the bending of space-time due to the concentration of mass? Simples.
But you see, not a single scientist can explain it to us.
Finally comes the universality of the gravitational law, the fact that it extends over such enormous distances, that Newton, in his mind worrying about the solar system, was able to predict what would happen in an experiment of Cavendish, where Cavendish's little model of the solar system, the two balls attracting, has to be expanded 10 million times to become the solar system. And then 10 million times expanded once again, and we find the galaxies attracting each other by exactly the same law. Nature uses only the longest threads to weave her patterns, so that each small piece of her fabric reveals the organization of the entire tapestry.
I think Richard Feynman did a pretty good job there, don't you?
So if you take gravity out of the picture, okay? Take gravity out of the picture. What's holding together the ball? For all you NASA fans, what exactly is holding the ball together?
Well, it's gravity, so we can't really take it out of the picture, can we? It is the single explanation as to why the Earth is spherical.
If there is no gravity, which you don't understand, what's holding everything together? What's holding everything together with this universe? How are we moving through a universe? How are we traveling with the sun through this enormous amount of speed? Once gravity is taken out of the equation, none of it makes any sense.
Completely agree with you, CC. It doesn't. The explanation for all those things has a single common phenomena: gravity.
So you have to understand that gravity is bullshit.
Right, so if we take gravity out of the equation, and then we can't explain the things that are because of gravity, then that means gravity is BS. That makes perfect sense, CC.
From what you've been taught. And once you understand that, and you understand that all of these scientists back 50, 70 years ago have come up with a computation that doesn't make any sense. But there's nothing holding you together. There's nothing holding anything down.
I would love to hear your reasoning as to why things fall and stay on the ground, CC.
But once you realize that, well, then you might want to rethink your ball. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.
You are very welcome, mate. But you're still talking rubbish. Right, next up we have the main Flat Earth Fail man himself, Mr. Level Earth Observer, who this time is talking about gold. Interesting.
Today's Retro Globe Science Day, where essentially I'm looking back in the past, digging out those old practical references that were somehow cited to get us to believe in something that is scientifically impossible. In this instance, gravitational attraction. So let's have a look. Just going to forward it a bit.
A popular topic today on Flat Earth Fail Compilation 31, isn't it, gravity?
To the bit we want, which is the practical reference in question. Here we go.
On each end of the bar, we put a lead ball. The two balls balance and the bar is free to turn. Now we put another ball on the left side of each of the two original ones. If everything attracts...
Now in comes this psychedelic magnetic style music. Now this music is so powerful that it can actually turn lead into gold.
Right. Okay, Elio, I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm sure you're about to explain.
Let me just come back a few seconds. The music comes in and like right before our eyes, it's going to turn lead into gold. Incredible.
If everything attracts everything else, the ball...
Boom! Gold.
I don't think they would change the lead balls to gold balls. That'd be way too expensive. Is it not more plausible that they're using a different camera here and the angle and the lighting is making those lead balls appear to be a more golden colour?
I suggest that everyone takes a clip of this music. Any lead you got, I got some in the shed. I'll take that clip down in a minute and earn myself a few quid. Boom! And again.
If everything attracts everything else, the balls should attract each other and the bar should move. There is an attraction of gravity between the lead balls.
Yeah, right. Every tower crane on Earth makes a mockery of this demonstration.
Yet you can't explain what is going on here.
You wouldn't be able to do heavy lifts in big cranes next to buildings. Imagine how inconvenient mass attracting mass would be in everyday life.
Mass does affect mass in everyday life. We just can't really notice it because it's an incredibly weak force.
It's just be ridiculous. And then, when we look at the practical references cited, it's got a cut in it when we go from lead balls to gold balls. So either that psychedelic music is turning lead to gold, or we've got a bit of skullduggery at play here, lads. It's not even done under the scientific conditions. I can't see what's going on above. There could be just some clown turning the cable here, while you're playing your psychedelic music. Let's just have one last peep.
You really think that someone's turning that from above, do you, Elio? Quite incredible.
And see globe science turn lead into gold.
To turn. Now we put another ball on the left side of each of the two original ones. If everything attracts everything else, the ball should attract...
Boom! Globe science for you. Full of magic, daft stories, silly practical references, explanations, psychedelic music. And I gather it helps to take lots of wild mushrooms as well. Oh dear.
As per usual, Level Earth Observer, your personal incredulity isn't a good enough reason to doubt this one. Okay, our next Flat Earth fail comes from a channel called Flat Earth Tests, who wants to talk about Australia.
Okay, I'm going to try this one more time. This is for my faithful trolls. This video is about the sunrise in Australia coming in from the south-southeast.
Ah, I love it when they get their globes out.
Now let me make this crystal clear. I understand in reality we get a south-southeast sunrise in Australia, especially during the summer, which is how I have the globe lined up now. I also realize in SunCalc and other apps we see the sun coming in from the south-southeast. I'm not arguing against reality.
Okay, so you're happy that it happens, and you're happy that everything we use to predict it is correct. What's your issue then?
I'm pointing out it does not work on a globe.
Ah, of course. You do realise that when everyone says those words, they end up on Flat Earth Fail compilations, don't you?
Now, I drew 4 right angles right here by the mid-northern tip of the coast of Australia to point this out. Now, please pay careful attention. This is not complicated. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to level out the globe with the equator. Okay? Now, you see all the lines of latitude are all parallel with the equator. They are all parallel with the equator.
They are all parallel with the equator anyway, buddy. Come on.
So then you're going to talk about the tilt. Okay? Now, let me explain that.
And as we can see, the lines of latitude are all still parallel with the equator, even when it's tilted.
Okay? When you tilt the Earth here 23.4 degrees, you tilt east with it. You see? There's the equator. There's east is also tilting down. The globe is never going to drop lower than this right here, ever. This analemma represents where we view the sun in the sky. So I realize it's on the surface on your globe, but it never goes north of Cancer. You'll never see it up here on any model, or south of Capricorn. Never goes down here. It's always in between the tropics and the ecliptic.
Something which not only proves a spherical Earth, but also a heliocentric solar system. If you don't know, a solar analemma is a picture of the sun's position in the sky on different days over the course of a year, taken from the exact same location. The elliptical path of our orbit around the sun, plus our tilt, is the reason why we get that figure 8 shape.
That's where we see the sun in the sky. Now here's what they like to do. This is how they've tricked you. What they like to do is, in a computer graphic, they like to straighten out the globe, level it out, and then tilt the sun down 23.4 degrees, and then spin the Earth like that's how it would work. Then I get Australia, I get the sunrise coming in from the south, but nothing else matches reality, you see? If I'm going to do that, I have to do the spin, I have to then come around with the sun up and around and down back around to match, and stay in the ecliptic to match reality. That's a dirty, rotten trick they pulled.
Did anyone get any of that? I went back and watched that another 4 times, and I still can't fathom what his problem is. Here is my globe set up for a southern hemisphere summer, and if we rotate it for a sunrise on the east coast of Australia, oh, would you look at that?
So once again, okay, here's Australia, right here, where the sun would be right around this area when you'd start seeing it. And once again, when you tilt the globe, you tilt east down with it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're chatting rubbish, buddy. Let's move on. Our final video this month comes from Flatzoid FE, who in a recent comment stated he was going to make me look like an ignoramus. Here we go. And that, wow, Flatzoid, did you blow your budget on the intro? That really was that. What is Mikey doing here exactly? I think his point, and the usual flat earther stance on this, is that his phone is denser than the air around it, therefore it falls. Well, okay, but my phone is also denser than the air above it. In fact, if you want to be really technical about it and really accurate, the air above it is very, very, very slightly less dense than the air below it. So why doesn't a phone move upwards if that's the case?
Glad you asked this, Daniel.
Daniel? Daniel? No thanks, Flatzoid. I can't even remember the last time someone called me that.
Since you are Simon Dan and you claim to know so much about science and physics, it's weird that you would ask such a rudimentary question.
Well, it's not, because I was questioning Mikey Smith about the very poor density argument that he was giving that other flat earthers so often give.
Have you never ever heard of potential energy? Anyway, let's go to the basics.
Oh, this should be good.
You see, this is Simon Dan holding his cell phone. Was his cell phone automatically in his hand? No, he had to pick it up. Now, what's going to happen when he's going to lift the phone? What happened? He imparted potential energy to the phone. Now, when he lets go, what's going to happen? it's going to turn to kinetic energy, and thus it sinks or falls in, depends on opinion. So yes, we see the phone is denser than the medium it is submerged in. Why would you expect it to go up just because it's less dense? It's still denser than from where you picked it up. Hence, it's out of its equilibrium. You know, when it's on the ground, it's in static equilibrium, or in your hand, again, static equilibrium, because you are supporting. So once you let go of the phone, you can no longer support it. Thus, the potential energy has turned to kinetic energy and seeks its relative equilibrium.
What you have just described there, Flatsoid FE, is gravitational potential energy. If I lift my phone upwards, I'm increasing its gravitational potential energy because I'm moving it further from the Earth's surface. Here is the equation for gravitational potential energy, and you can quite clearly see there's a little g in there. The energy is the object's mass multiplied by little g multiplied by its height. When you let go of that phone, yes, the energy is converted into kinetic amongst other smaller variations of energy, but that is irrelevant. By claiming there's potential energy in that phone, you are admitting that there is a downward force that you are fighting against. This is one of the most epic fails I have ever seen. And you were supposed to make me look like an ignoramus. Amazing. Right, well there we go, another Flat Earth Fail compilation all done and dusted. Episode 31 complete. Thank you so much for watching, it truly is appreciated. If you enjoyed it today, please do consider subscribing. As you can see from the title, there's another 30 compilations to go and check out. Please do if you want to check those out, and hit the like button as well if you liked it. Just enough time to once again thank Klima for sponsoring today. Remember, the first 100 of you that subscribe today get 10 extra trees planted in their name. Click the link in the description, use my code SIMANDAN. Let's make this planet a greener place. I've been SIMANDAN, have yourselves a great weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday for some more Facebook science. See you then.